Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast will review every segment of Raw and give you guys the wrestling news of the week. Right in front of you, visualize it. There is a question looking at you right now. It is, who is the name of the man I'm listening to? My name is Turbo Tony and we're here with the master of the worm, Matty Too Hottie.
Yeah. Now, if only I could actually do the worm.
Yeah.
That's so much better.
How are you doing this week, Matt?
I'm pretty good. I think a lot better than I have been previously.
Seems like our threats to a certain Mr. McMahon have paid off. We'll go into our news in regards to a certain network. Maybe one of our classic catchphrases that we won't have to go back to any longer. But yeah, it's been an interesting week for professional wrestling. Lots of news to talk about. And I also caught New Japan's Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 9 event.
So I still haven't seen any of it.
Yeah, I will talk about that a little bit more. I put that in the news section this week. But for you guys, I'd like to give you a big thank you to anyone who's listening to the podcast and our long-term fans as well. I got a big response from the last episode, tons of questions, and we're going to answer every single one of them for you this week. Every single one of them in our fan feedback. So we've got a big chunky fan feedback for you. It's too big for me even to say. That's how big it is. And we've also got the fail of the week, and we've got our Raw recap. So plenty for you there, and a very interesting Raw one that I think that our fans are waiting for our thoughts on in regards to a certain angle. And stuff like that. So big packed show there for you this week. Let's Talk Wrestling number 58. And without further ado, we should get into it, as we've got plenty to talk about there. And also, as always, if you'd like to leave us any questions, then please do so in the comments section below, or you can tweet Matt at @TalkWrestlePod. That's the official Twitter handle for this podcast. And yet again, I would like to thank people. We are very close to smashing through 200 subscribers, so that's awesome. Thank you very much for all your support.
Can't thank enough.
But we can't keep thanking you all day. We need to give you what you came for, and that is Talking Wrestling. That's the name of the show, so we'll go along with that.
Aim of the game.
Aim of the game. Well, let's go with the big news story. I think a lot of people maybe were a bit happy that there wasn't another rant. Or maybe they were. Maybe they wanted another rant. I don't know. But we said last week that there would be a rant coming if Vince would not launch the network this month. During the week, he announced himself he had a nice little video package, stealing the Rock's catchphrases, stating that it is going to launch in the middle of this month in the UK and Ireland.
Yay!
So, yay! The only thing is, it hasn't come out yet, and until it comes out, I don't believe it. And I'm not saying this isn't, guys. Don't get me wrong. This isn't me saying I don't think it's going to launch. In fact, I believe it. It has to launch. There's no other way. But come on, we got burnt hard last time. And if they actually do this again, where they, 20 minutes before it's about to launch, if they actually postpone it again, can you imagine the backlash?
Riots!
Yeah. Man, can you imagine the rant on this show?
Oh,
Jesus.
Unreal.
It would be. It really would be. But yeah, this is good news. And to be honest, when you look back on it, WWE just majorly dropped the ball. They really should have had this launch. They should have had all their international audience in mind when the initial network launched. I don't see why it was this much of an issue, personally. It's taken them a ridiculous amount of time, and if they're going along with this, they're killing their own pay-per-views. What is it they say on commentary each week? It's $55 for a pay-per-view, but only $9.99 for the network. So they're essentially killing their pay-per-view buys, right?
Yeah.
So if they really wanted to get on the bandwagon to get the network launched, I mean, you should agree with this, Matt. It was launched in other areas, a while back. I would argue that everything if they really wanted to capitalize on the world nature of their organization, and sometimes we joke that it's American sports, ASE we call it sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But if they really want to capitalize on it, they should have done, at very least, launched the network internationally less than 6 months, from their initial launch.
Yeah.
And that's at most.
You would have thought, this is our window. We'll have the US, and we'll have give it 3 months, the world.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, right? They obviously wanted to launch it in America, where they know the business practices there. It's less complicated for them.
Where they're based,
Where they're based, yeah. But come on, it doesn't take that long to get this all set up, you know. So they've dragged their heels with it. It's obviously come with some bad publicity considering they have cancelled it prior. And I'm sure that Vince, this isn't a congratulatory launch of the network for him. It's I can get this finally out of my hair. It must have been a massive headache for the guy. That's not absolving him.
That's it. It's finally done.
Yeah. And they should have had it done ages ago. I think it's a big knock to their professionalism. That's what we've said all along, isn't it? We called it a TNA style mistake.
Yeah.
Back when they initially did it. Are you purchasing the network, Matt?
Oh, of course I'm against. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get it just for the podcast, wouldn't we? Really?
Like, is it going to put us off it? No.
No. One of our I don't want to talk about it too much because one of our fan questions is asking about that. So obviously we're going into details in regards to that. But yeah, I mean it's good that it's come out. But I mean, as you guys already know, this should have been done away ages ago. And we did a whole episode on whether it was Sky's fault, whether it was WWE's fault. We were firmly that WWE were at fault. I'm still with that, but
Sky have still released the pay-per-view listing.
Yeah.
That the pay-per-views will still be available on Sky.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, if I was Sky, and I don't want to go too much into this because we've already spoken about it before, if I was Sky, I'd be pissed off. I really would be, you know? With the network, they're technically undercutting all their business partners, WWE, right?
Yeah.
If you're one of their business partners, you'd think, well, why did I waste my time with you when now I've got nothing? You know, you just launched this. So it's a little bit crappy, but I very much doubt Sky is going to, you know, cry over it. They'll be fine. A very small slice of people buy Sky.
That's it. I mean, for Sky, it's like, oh no, what else am I going to put on in a 3-hour window at 1 a.m?
Yeah. It's not that much. I mean, it is still them being undercut.
Oh yeah,
and that's crap. But the majority of people that would buy Sky Sports over in Ireland and the UK would be for football, for soccer.
Yeah.
For our American fans. That's whenever I go to anyone else's house and they've got Sky Sports, you ask them what they bought it for, 99 times out of 100 they'll say it's for the football. You know, that's what it's for. So Sky, I doubt will have.
And then it's rugby and cricket.
Yeah, they're the monopoly, aren't they? Really.
There's always golf somewhere out there.
Yeah.
The weirdos.
Yeah. Well, what sports do you watch, Matt? There you go. That's my question. That's my fan feedback to you. Do you watch any sports on Sky?
Watch wrestling.
Watch wrestling. Okay, that's it. I watch tons of sports, but there we are. There is no sport too obscure out there for me to watch. You know, flaming beach ball,
midget tossing,
yeah, all that sort of stuff. You know, I respect the intricacies of said sports. You know, but that's maybe going into going one way of a tangent. Let's move forward anyway. A little bit of unfortunate news. Jerry Lawler has worked his last Raw, and that's due to two news stories. One, that he was hospitalised this week. He was very quickly stated to all the fans that he's okay, nothing too serious, and that he will be back. You know, within a week. You know, he missed this week's Raw, but he'll be back. By what they say, he should be back next week. Well, he won't be back to Raw.
No.
That's the funny thing. Because WWE announced their new setup. You know, their new commentary teams. King is out. He's out of Raw. He's not doing Raw anymore. That's it. I didn't see this coming, and
it's gone for like almost a crazy luck of the draw.
Yeah, really. I mean, if you look at it then, that means last week, which ironically was a very good Raw, we praised it as such, is his last Raw. That's the last Raw he'll be doing. And he's moving to SmackDown. We've said all along that 3-man booth just wasn't working. We slammed it last week, and we've been very critical of it for a long amount of time. Cole making mistakes. He made more on this show. You know,
crazy.
Yeah, but that 3-man booth wasn't working, and maybe it isn't. Maybe this doesn't make things better, but they don't know. They have to do something, and putting Booker T, who does get that slot in, comes in from nowhere and takes that slot, which is a bit random.
I will admit though, this week I was just like, oh, Booker.
Yeah, he was toned down this week in relation to how he usually is. Right, you can expect that. No more shucky ducky quack quack or Fab 5.
No, but you all enjoy your chips and chutney.
What's ironic is that's factual. That's not even close to racist. He'll be coming for you, Matt. He'll be coming for you. All right.
I still just heard it, and I was like, "Oh, Booker."
So, what's your thoughts on it? But it is. I thought it was random, and Booker T wasn't even on any of the announced teams, and then suddenly
they're suddenly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I find it odd because I was looking at it because you've got Tom Phillips who's been doing quite a good job recently on SmackDown, as I've heard, and he's not on there anymore at all.
Yeah, he's been removed.
You got Brian Saxton.
Yeah. Yeah, because now, obviously, just to advise, the new SmackDown commentator will have Byron Saxton, who I think is good. I've watched him on NXT. I think he's okay. And King will now go into SmackDown. Here's one of the things, right? And there's a big question that's brought up with this, is do we think that King was left on Raw longer because of his heart attack, right? And it's not a nice question to answer, but I feel that if we don't answer it now, we'll get asked it, you know? Yes, I believe that he got longer on Raw because of his heart attack. That's what I believe that.
Really?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think it really plays much role in it at all.
You don't think the heart attack plays any role into it?
No.
I think he would have stayed there. I disagree.
I don't understand how it would.
Well, he just had a heart attack. You can't demote him.
He just had a heart attack, and
you can't demote him. It's bad press. There was a lot of press going around.
It's not really demoting because it's just like, oh,
yes,
he's taken off.
We've slammed SmackDown so much. Of course, it's a demotion.
It's not the fact. It's the same workload though. It's still the same travel.
Well, no, you've got a 3 hour short, 3 hour live show. I think is a lot more stressful than a 2 hour recorded one. Definitely. I see this as a demotion. I see this as him. Come on, how much time have we said that SmackDown is irrelevant, right? We've said
we
that.
Don't watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they basically put King onto an irrelevant show. I would call that a demotion. Personally, to me.
But it may lead on to something completely different that I've also heard that may be in the pipework.
Go on. Do tell.
Separation.
Oh yeah, apparently they're doing a relaunch of SmackDown, aren't they?
The brand split.
The brand split. I'll hold out thought until it happens.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, by God, SmackDown needs attention. You know, they need it to be more relevant. And I've seen small strides for it to get that way. But come on, you can't make it an irrelevant show that's been irrelevant for about 5 years suddenly relevant again. It takes a long time for it to get back up that way, and especially since the title was
unified,
you know, even more so. But yeah, we'll hold out on that until I have heard rumours, but they're rumours at the moment, you know.
That's it.
But yeah, that's just my thought. Let me know what you guys think, you fans. I'd love to hear what you think. Whether you thought that maybe King, and it was unfortunate, his heart attack, did that prolong his Raw commentary? Because the guy is obviously checked out for ages. You said that. Wait, this is years before his, you know, that unfortunate incident that he had checked out. Sometimes it looked like he didn't even care, right, what was really going on. He was just going through the motions. Pretty much since JR was removed, I'd say. He's just gradually lost interest, you know, in regards to...
Well, they took the strength out of the team right there.
Yeah. You're quite right on that fact, but it is interesting to see what people's thoughts on it are. And I'd like to see how Jerry commentates SmackDown. Maybe he just gets even less interested than before. And we'll see how far it goes. But I think this is a big move, guys. I honestly do. I think this is them slowly phasing King out of the announce booth. I think he'll be announcing for a good couple of years. Don't get me wrong. But look at all the guys that they've got coming up. Yeah, they've got Byron Saxton, who technically jumped over Renee Young, who I think should be in a role like that. Like I said, you've got, who was it? Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips, who's there. You've got Corey Graves, who's now announcing on NXT. He's definitely going to want to be trying to move up the ladder. They've got more announcers now on their roster than they've had for years. They had to bring back like JBL and Booker T to do commentary on their show because they didn't have a lot of talent. They had Matt Stryker filling in for them, and apparently they hated him. So, they've got so many people now to build up. I just think it's a matter of time. The time is ticking on King's announcing career. That's my opinion. How much time do you think he has left, King?
I don't think a great deal.
I think he's got a couple of years.
Yeah. I think it's just sort of like, he's had a heart attack, he's getting on a bit.
Yeah, I think
he's quite old hat for Raw as well.
Yeah. Like I said, he hasn't contributed much to the commentary, has he? Really? Mm-mm. He's not doing something on that Raw booth that someone else can't do. You know, you'd argue for Cole at very least that his juggling of all the different stuff that comes with doing a live show and getting all these references in, trying to plug all the different stuff that comes up, the app, shows on USA, he has to do all this other stuff and
That's
basically
it.
drive the show.
All King has to do is sit there and just make a bad pun every now and then.
Yeah. I'd argue that there maybe isn't someone at the moment ready for the role that Cole's in at the moment. But someone could do what King's doing very easily.
That's it. There's not a Cole replacement, but there's definitely a King and a Lawler. A King and a Lawler, a King and a Layfield replacement.
Yeah, definitely. Someone could replace JBL pretty easy as well if they wanted to play. I tell you what, there's plenty of guys on that roster who could play a good heel commentator. Hell, Christian's retired now. He'd make a fantastic heel
definitely
commentator there. I guarantee you. He won't know. They won't put him on commentary because they don't like him. That's the bottom line of it. Come on, that retirement. They definitely rolled out the carpet for his retirement, didn't they, Christian? Bloody hell.
But then saying that, I've since heard that that's not true.
What do you mean?
Apparently, recently, I saw somewhere that Christian and Jericho were at a charity auction.
Okay.
And somebody asked Christian about it, and apparently it wasn't the case. Apparently he isn't retired yet.
Well, they've said he's retired. He hasn't
No, I know
wrestled in
they said
years.
he's retired, but I'm pretty sure that we'd have, like you said previously, I think we'd have a bit more show if Christian retired.
I tell you what, I think that's maybe I take that story with a pinch of salt because at the end of the day, right? Let's say that maybe he isn't retired. They just play that angle up for whatever. The guy's barely been in the ring for God knows how long. And they've announced
we don't hear that Jericho's retired. He just comes back every now and then.
Exactly, yeah. So he's hoping that maybe he does get one more thing, and after that he does get all the special treatment that a guy who had been wrestling that long deserves. But I'm not holding out for it. I'm really not. So yeah, that's the news on the announced setup. As far as I know, that's happening immediately. In regards to the pay-per-views, it's going to revert to JBL, Cole, Lawler, so they're still going to be the same. But hey, our weekly wrestling show is going to have a little bit of shucky ducky quack quack in it. So, and don't condemn Booker T, yet. He was bad when he was put in on SmackDown. It's just he got very bad very quick. But give him another chance. He's just been freshly put in. You can tell he's pulled back a little bit from some of the other stuff. They could easily just let him off the leash and he can suddenly be making all these random, nonsensical remarks very quickly.
I'm just only prepared, considering for some of our audience this won't make any sense at all, but you get this.
Yeah.
I can only think of with Booker T on the commentary team, it's like Father Ted.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You got two guys who make sense. You got the other one in the corner just like, that's ours.
Yeah. He came up with some absolutely nonsensical stuff, didn't he, Booker T, when he was commentating SmackDown? It was absolutely weird. His Fab Five, kept
which
changing.
Probably was about Fab 15.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of my Fab Fabs. He's one of my Fab Fabs. They're both in my Fab Fab. It's like, Booker, we're 3 matches in, and already you're just pointing out everyone. The ref, Fab Fab.
I know, it's quite funny.
Scott Armstrong, Fab Fab.
Oh, Eva Marie, Fab Five. Let's not go. Well, he probably quite likes Eva Marie, but let's not go into that. Cameron.
I reckon he's a Cameron man.
Oh, you reckon? Right. His wife's pretty good looking, so let's not knock the man.
Let's not speculate this.
Yeah. Well, we went on a tangent there, did we not? Okay. I watched
just like Booker T.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he will go off on tangents. Not like that though. Obviously, he's not going to. He's not going to be pervy king a la the 1990s. Shall we say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the last bit of the news. I didn't know where else to fit this in, but I watched the New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 9 event headlined.
Did you watch all of it?
I watched So
remember you saying you watched the first last hour?
Yeah, so basically the first hour, because I didn't think I'd have enough time, I watched the first hour and the last hour, because the last hour had the 2 big matches I wanted to watch on it.
Yeah.
Since then I managed to catch the other part. So I have watched it all, it's just been segmented in different places.
Broken up, yeah.
Yeah, broken up. But if you guys are wondering whether this is worth seeking out and purchasing, they actually got the English commentary for this. JR and Matt Stryker did the commentary, and they were good. They were really good. They were very good at educating me, a person who doesn't really have time, considering I've got a 3-hour Raw to watch each week. educating me about these wrestlers and their heritage, their backgrounds, where they come from, what style of wrestling we should expect. They did a very good job in doing that.
That's
So
one thing I quite like, because listening to JR's podcast, that's one of the things that he mentioned, is the fact that like I'm gonna have to like tell the story like I used to, of just like how far these people have come and what and who and what they are.
yeah, and he did that. He did well. And Stryker was very good, because sometimes he gets a little bit too like he's almost like he's got his fact file in front of him. He's just running off facts. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he does that a little bit too much. But when it's with something that I know nothing
What
about,
of all of his in-ring experience?
yeah. I thought here he was good because yeah, technically I didn't know anything about it, so him throwing out these stuff to me was quite helpful in that sense. There were a ton of good matches though. I mean, they had a lot of they for these events they bring in a lot of other companies involved. So you had the Jeff Jarrett Global Force Wrestling, which I don't know what's going on with that, but he's got people on his side apparently, like AJ Styles, and David Boy Smith was on the show as well. Had a little bit of a showing. They had guys from Wrestle Noah, which is another Japanese promotion, coming across. But it was all headlined by the clash of Tanahashi versus Okada for the for their world championship, the IWGP World Championship, right? And for what I've seen of them before, and for what the commentary were alluding to, this was essentially Rock versus Austin, style big time match, and people were ready for this main event, and it was really really good. I thought it was fantastic. I thought that these guys really put it out there. The match before it though, the Nakamura match, was a lot of people saying that it was better. I can certainly understand why it was better, but there's nothing. I'm not going to go too much into this because this is completely outside of what our fans, expect. We don't exactly review Japanese wrestling on like a weekly basis, but it's well worth seeking out. I think it was a great advertisement, especially now they've got the English commentary to go over it. Great advertisement for what wrestling outside the WWE can give you. And it was in the Tokyo Dome, so it was a massive fucking arena that they're in.
That's the literally highlight venue.
It's the WrestleMania of Japan,
Yeah.
right? And they spared no expense. It was huge. And often a lot of the Japanese fans will they'll be very quiet and appreciative of the wrestling. They couldn't even contain themselves here in the Tanahashi Okada match. They just couldn't. It was almost like they couldn't keep themselves from sitting down and congratulating. They had to get up and they were like, yeah, come on, and everything. It was awesome.
Sit down. How I meant to sit down?
Tanahashi versus Okada. So yeah, it was all cool. So yeah, if you can and you can get it for a good price. I don't know the exact pricing of it now, but yeah, it's well worth seeking out.
I'm gonna track it.
It's pretty fun. Fan feedback, big fan feedback for this week. We are answering close to 4 or 5 questions, I'd state, or comments left in the comment section below.
We've already touched on one.
Already touched on one, but we'll go into more details of it there. But this is a new rule of LTW for the meantime, because the show is expanding at a very increased rate, and when the subscribers go up, we may get just way too many questions we can do. But if it carries on the way it is at the moment, we're going to try and answer every question that you ask of us. So any question you want to leave down there, for now, it's going to get answered. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you want to be featured on the podcast, that's a great way to do it. I'm thinking of taking audio questions as well in the future. Do you think that'd be a good idea? I think that might be fun. So you record audio questions.
Different change.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So let's get on to this anyway. We've got plenty to get through. We already spent half an hour on the news. Jesus. Bazooka Majin asks us, what wrestlers have the most memorable or greatest taunts in all of professional wrestling? First of all, I think taunts are put in 2 different categories. One being poses that wrestlers do in the ring. You've got Randy Orton's thing that he does with his arms, John
This
Cena.
outward thing, yeah.
And then you got taunts like John Cena's, which is done in the middle of a match, which is kind of to piss people off, that you can't see me stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're the 2 different ones. So I picked 2, okay? For the one that's in the ring, I thought it elicited a really great response. You can't get much better than The Rock's "Just Bring It,"
Yeah, you can.
I think I know where you're going with. What are you going with for that?
Hogan.
Hogan's? No,
Hogan's
no.
powering out and you!
No.
That's,
Okay, well, fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion.
that's bigger than just bring it.
What do you think for ones just outside of a match, though?
Um, I don't care, if I'm brutally honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think because the ones like that don't really tell a story of a match. They're just sort of like, excuse me, like Randy Orton's was just like, look at me, I'm the legend killer.
Yeah.
Played no part.
You make him sound like an airy fairy. Oh,
I'm Randy Orton. No, but they don't play a part. They're just literally just like, hey, get a good picture.
they're part of the gimmick sort of thing, aren't they?
Yeah, where like with Hogan's, with Rocks, and so with all bits like that, it's all part of a storytelling of the match. Because like Hogan would never do that unless he was getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah. No,
And suddenly, it's like, I'm taking all of these blows. No, I'm not. I'm Hogan. Feed off the power of fans. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I went for Ric Flair's woo because I just think that just felt such a small thing.
Yeah, well,
Like that reverberated around.
it's not a taunt, but I'll take it.
He used to use that sort of stuff in the ring as well, so I guess that's it.
I'll go with Woo.
Yeah.
Woo will never die.
Woo!
Exactly. From all the way up to WWE to down to the very sort of to in front of 20 people in an indie scene, every chop grants a woo.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that one thing that reverberated throughout his entire career. And the man, literally, his music comes on and you hear that all the fans go, woo! So,
Just suddenly, just like I love it when he turns up at WWE or something like that, because it's just like, dun, dun, woo!
yeah, literally just the first two beats.
Like 75,000 people at WrestleMania all at once. Woo!
Yeah, it's pretty legendary.
And as I'm saying this, I can hear my fiance behind me wooing. It's great.
You see, it goes to everyone. Doesn't matter who it is. You know, it's universal, shall we say?
That's it.
You know what? I'll try that on my kids and see if I can get it through to them. Get them going to say woo. I'll let you guys know what happened next week, whether I managed to get.
I expect them to be wooing when I get over there.
Yeah. Okay, Thomas Miller asks us if we are excited for the network to launch or if it is soured for us. So we already obviously talked about the network launching, but he's kind of asking whether it has soured for us. It hasn't soured on us fully. We're still going to buy it.
It's soured for me because I'm just like, I could have had it by now.
Yeah, but you're still going to buy it though, aren't you? Like,
yeah, because I'm an idiot and I'm blind. Sheep that WWE wishes.
Yeah. No, he has. Listen, we're pissed
Must
off.
buy $9.99.
How much is it, Matt? How much is it? Oh God,
it better be $9.99. I tell you what, no, it better not be $9.99. It better be like £6 something because
I think it is.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm annoyed with it, and I'm more annoyed at WWE in terms of like I expect more from them. It's like I'm not really angry. I'm just disappointed. Sort of thing, you know?
Especially for the large side of their audience that the UK and Ireland is.
Yeah,
that they've just gone like last minute, just like, by the way, you ain't getting it.
Yeah,
we have problems. Well, surely you should have fixed this problem.
Yeah.
Surely you should have gone around like every individual country and go, you ready, go.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, yeah, we're going to release it in the UK. No, you're not. Oh, but why?
A multi-$100 million company and they couldn't get it right, sort of thing. Listen, I agree. It's just frustrating, you know. But the fact is that very most, like, listen, right, if they do the same again this time, I will promise you guys, no matter how much I want to review it for you guys. If they fuck us around again, I'm not buying the network. If they do it again, because it feels like an insult, right? I'll stick with Sky, because at least I know I'm going to get the fucking thing to work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think they'll make the same mistake again, because if they do, it would be so asinine, it really would. But I'm still excited for it. It's still a great deal. It's still, listen, you're still saving money. I know they plug it all the time, and it gets annoying. At least I haven't said the words $9.99 for, you know, crazy amount for quite a few months now. But if they muck it around anymore, then I'll start taking it a little bit personally. That's just me, I guess. Robert Chapman writes that he likes the Ascension, but he's unclear if they're meant to be heel or face, and they just seem to be another tag team on the roster.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you're pissed off right now.
It's just like we'll mention this later because it goes on to a section of Raw, but they're going with the Ryback thing. It's just like, oh, look at these, they're dominating, and look at who have we got here? Nobodies.
Yeah.
Kill nobodies. That's what Ryback did, and he was a face.
Hey, I don't
get over as a powerhouse with his feed me more. It's just like, I want more pussies. Give me more newbie bitches that I can take. And just like,
the world needs jobbers,
me with Ascension.
The world needs jobbers, okay?
That's it. I don't understand the world needs jobbers, but let it...
I actually personally think, and like I said, we will get to it, I don't think the match hurt them as much as their promo did.
I don't think anything helped them at all.
Yeah, well, you're quite true, to be honest. Listen, right, whether they will be going heel, you can tell they are, but from this week, doesn't matter if they're face or heel, they need any sort of crowd response. Any. If they get cheered, just go with it. They need something. They've got no crowd response at the moment in the first 2 weeks. They've had one of the most lackluster debuts in recent history, and it's a current trend in WWE at the moment. They really don't care if you're new and coming to the roster. They don't give you much of a build-up.
It's the one thing I kind of hate in the most is the fact that they turned up and they attacked a fully fledged team, like a team that has held titles.
Yeah, the former champions of that
night.
Yeah.
It is a genuine and full of contracted superstars. And now they're beating up locals.
Yeah. Which you would expect them to win, so it's not much of an impressive feat.
Exactly. Oh, Fall of Man, done.
Yeah.
That's the worst part is, I was really expecting, I was like, now the Ascension have been in NXT for a while. They're big in NXT. And I was expecting people to go with a yeah. No, I got none of that.
Well, you know what, right?
Does like anyone in the WWE universe watch NXT?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, right? I don't think that's Ascension's fault in terms of that. I think that's WWE's fault. Why didn't they not run any sort of video segments of them wrestling in NXT with that sort of chant going on? They didn't do anything like that.
Like their recent match at our Evolution or something, just snippets from that.
Yeah. And listen,
or when they were tag champions. They keep mentioning they were NXT tag champions. Cool, you've got all this footage. Use it.
Yeah. Oh, those promos. We slammed those promos, but it wasn't as worse as the live promo they had.
We will destroy them. Oh no.
We're going to talk about their promo with their match they had. But yeah, listen. At the end of the day, I know they're going to be going heel, but they need something, anything to get to. We said back when Adam Rose debuted, he needs some sort of response, any sort of response, and he didn't get any response, and look where the guy is now. Right? It doesn't take very long for them to think, you're not really working, so we're just going to forget about you. You can go back to the lower card, and we'll put you in matches every now and then. It doesn't take that much. It literally could take less than 3 weeks for that to happen. Honestly, guys, it really can. It can be shocking how quickly that can go. The guy who I think has probably the best name out of all of our fans, Obi-Wan Jabroni.
Yep.
I applaud that. That's good. I applaud that. That's awesome. He asks if we own any replica championship title belts. And I think he's referring to not the toys, even though I'm going to talk about them as well, but actual replica belts, the proper, $300 ones that you can get or something like that. Have you ever owned a replica belt, Matt?
No.
No, none at all. We bought tag team titles ages ago, and you still have your toy tag belt, don't you?
I still have mine somewhere that we've carved my name into it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's back when we were kids, though. That's when we were mucking around and stuff. So that still makes me smile thinking of that. I think I had. It wasn't a toy belt. It wasn't a high grade replica belt, but it was a much more expensive kind of merge of the two. And it was the Smoke and Skull belt back when Austin was doing his thing, and it was the WWF one. But for the life of me, I don't know where that is now.
I remember you having that.
Yeah. It wasn't like a toy. It wasn't like a really cheap one. It was I didn't even know why I got it because I didn't really ask for it. Maybe someone I was too young to know, to be honest. And
Just appeared in your room, sort
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. Between moves, they just went, sort of thing. And I kick myself for it now, not having it. And I know that you said in the question as well that you had. I don't know whether you got like the full-on replica. I know you got the WWE version of the belt, which I know you said kind of sucks. But the Smoking Skull belt I thought was always pretty awesome. I always liked that.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty cool. So yeah, I think that's awesome. But yeah, I've had tons of toy belts throughout the years. As a kid, you get them and stuff. And also the kind of a separate thing. He wanted to kind of spark up a mini conversation in regards to what a perfect belt lineup would be for the roster. I'll go first. I don't think it's that far away from what they've got now. My perfect belt run up would be WWE World Heavyweight, which is what they've got now. The one belt. I would never split them back up again. That's your one heavyweight title.
So main event belt.
Your main event belt, yeah. The Intercontinental Championship, don't get rid of it because it's got too much prestige. And I would try and build up to get that prestige back. I would remove the United States Championship.
Okay.
If I was booking it now, I'd remove it after Rusev loses. Or maybe make him be the one that trashes it and it never comes back again. That would get him a lot of heat, wouldn't it? If he just tosses it into the bin, puts it on fire.
Literally, fuck you, America. I'm gonna smash your title.
Yeah, that would be. And then, I mean, legitimately, don't do. The theme of this week is that WWE does not respect stipulations, and if they were to do that, then they would have to literally just remove it, everything. It'd just be gone, not even defended anymore. Then I would go for the tag titles because you have to have the tag titles, and I would bring back the women's championship. That's the
Scrap the Divas.
Scrap the Divas title. Obviously, the reason they keep it there is because now they've got Total Divas and stuff like that, and they think it's more, approachable.
Well, that sort of goes in the whole. Well, if that's the case, if I have control of what titles are around, that means I have control of the company. I would fucking scrap Total Divas.
Yeah. The reason why I always find it a bit crap that they got rid of the women's belt is because that belt has tons of prestige. You look at the women that have held it.
It's older than the IC belt.
You look at the early roots of it. We're talking about Mae Young, who, by the way, is a Hall of Famer.
That's it.
We're talking about Fabulous Moolah, the battles they had. I mean, I know that a lot of people nowadays may think, but they're just a joke.
Mae Young just gave birth to a hand.
Yeah. Well, they were turned into a joke after a certain period, when they got too old to really wrestle. But
I'm sorry, but when we had Mae Young turn up as a 90-year-old woman going, "I'll still fight these bitches," I was like, "Oh, bless you, Mae Young."
Or her
you
saying
crazy old grandma. You.
Or her saying to Bubba Ray Dudley, "Go on, powerbomb me through the table," and then he did it.
I'll fucking take it.
Yeah. Awesome. When you got women like that who suddenly don't matter anymore in terms of the belt they have, tell me, who's the most prestigious Divas champion?
Fine.
No names come to head, do they? When you talk about the women's title, there's 4 names that I instantly think of. Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, then you've got Trish Stratus and Lita. They're the 4 names that come up to me, and they're 4 Hall of Famers.
So basically, the major rivalries of 2 different eras.
Yeah. Now, there's obviously other names. They're just the 4 that come out to me because you've got the prestige and you've got the era that I grew up in, right? So, they're 4 Hall of Famers. Tell me, how many Hall of Famers have held a Divas title? None.
No.
Yeah. And I know it's being maybe a bit pedantic, maybe it doesn't matter that much. But to me, maybe I'm an old stickler for it. I would bring back the women's championship because it has so much prestige. I don't know why they got rid of it to this day. I really don't. Idiotic, if you ask me. But yeah, that's my lineup. And I would keep with 4. I think more is more. It's not necessarily better. It doesn't make anything better. More means it's rarer to hold a belt, and belts should be rare. However, if you've got a bloated roster, and God knows WWE is, and you want to get another draw, I'd bring back the Cruiserweight Championship and bring some Cruiserweights in.
Because it was literally, if the moment you turn around and went, "And what about you, Matt?" I'd have been exactly the same, but with the Cruiserweight.
Yeah, it would be the Cruiserweight, so I'd bring that.
But mostly because I'd love to rekindle back in the days. Like, do you remember, like, the rise of ECW when they had people like Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero being like their core wrestling moments?
Yeah,
and they had great matches in ECW, and I'd want to rekindle that.
Yeah, well,
the thing is, a lot of the smaller guys are the better wrestler.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Like,
like
it's
Adrian, like right. Let's look at the NXT roster alone. Half of them would be eligible for the cruiserweight.
yeah.
In Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, and all people like that. They'd be eligible for the cruiserweight,
Yeah,
so you'd get some great matches out of them.
yeah, and it'd be a stepping stone at the very least of these guys having singles back. I just think it'd be a great draw. I just think that people would want to tune in. Hell, I'd want to tune in if you got the likes of Tyler Breeze and Adrian Neville having a match. Even though I want them to get higher, let's be realistic, guys. While we love all those guys in NXT, there's only so many spots up on that top roster, and John Cena ain't retiring soon, So, um, there's got to be somewhere for them to fit in and give us some good quality television. Maybe that would be the place to go. But they would still have to make a few signings. Come on, 4 guys doesn't make a division. And I know they've got guys on, the main roster who could probably fit into that. But I still think that you'd have to sign up a few guys to go there. That's just my opinion. But yeah, so you're the same, are you? You'd go exactly the same.
Yeah, perfectly. Just chuck the cruiserweight in there.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of good matches.
Yeah. Let me know what your perfect title run up is in the comments below if you would like to, and it'd be interesting to see what. I know some people want to bring the hardcore title back, but I just think that's lost in an era that wouldn't work as well nowadays. And
No.
come on, I can't trust them to book if they want to bring back the 20, they don't want to bring back the heavyweight title. They want to bring back the 24/7 rule. That's what they want to do, and I don't trust the creative at the moment to have enough ideas where that would work for a sustained period of time. But there we are. Yeah, come on, look at the plot holes that could be involved in that. Jesus Christ.
However, I would quite like to have just like a week where it's like we'll just bring back the 24-hour rule.
Yeah. Just go a bit bonkers for a week. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe. Manrikita Bako 1 asks, which Royal Rumble do we consider to be our favourite of all time? I found this a hard question. Because the Royal Rumble to me, bar a few of them, have always been pretty entertaining at very least. Some of them have been excellent. I picked out a few of my moments that I remember thinking of, and I do have a pick, but it's kind of uneducated at the moment because
before you say it, there's one because I reckon you'll say it, but I couldn't find a good I can't I'm on the same boat as you. I can't find a favourite because they've all been good, but I think for one that I enjoyed the most was 2006.
Okay.
Ray starting and winning.
That was my pick as well.
Okay, that's cool.
I thought that match had a really good story to it, and the fact that while I dislike what Randy would eventually go on and say about Eddie Guerrero, he was a good villain in that slot for that period of time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that was a really good feel good moment. I picked that one as my favourite one. I don't want to go too far into it. Once we get the network, I'm going to be watching tons of Royal Rumbles because they're just.
That's it.
I'll have them on the background just to enjoy. Here are a few moments that I picked out though that don't involve that Royal Rumble. However, that I do believe that maybe you should go out and search. And I haven't done the years, right? Because didn't have a lot of questions this week. But
yeah,
one of them is quite an early one where Austin was on his rise. Austin dominated the Royal Rumble, cleared the ring, and anyone that would come in, he would just beat him up, throw him out. And there was a point where it looked like the commentary were just selling it as if there's no one that's going to be able to beat this guy. He's got total control of this match. And then Bret Hart's music hits, and Austin looks like he just saw a ghost. And
it's yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and he's got his hands on his head. He's like, oh crap, and then the two of them are in the middle of the ring, beating the crap out of each other.
Shit, I can't just chuck him out straight away.
Yeah, the wars between Bret Hart and Austin. That is my stake of my wrestling watching. Oh man, I'm going to be watching WrestleMania 13 for one match only. I trust you that much when I get the network.
I think that was the sole reason we were going to do WrestleMania 13 as our first Let's Talk Wrestling looks back at.
Yeah, we might do a few extra episodes. But it's just going to be me geeking out on that one match, man. I fucking love that match. Everyone knows I love that match. But these two guys just awesome. And whenever they get in the ring, it was magic. We were talking about chemistry between wrestlers. It is a shame that we didn't get more Austin and Bret Hart matches because, Jesus Christ, they had something special there between those two. They really did. So yeah, there's one of them. My other one is one of Jerry the King Lawler's finest moments on commentary. It's one of the Attitude Era Royal Rumbles. I think it's the one that The Rock won. I think he only won one. But basically, it's about midway through the match, and this is back when King was legitimately funny, and he was allowed to be a little bit dirty with his lines.
Yeah.
Val Venus comes into the match, and then King drops this line. If you guys know who Val Venus is, if don't, check it out, because otherwise this joke won't make any sense. He says, if anyone knows how to win this match, they need to rise to the occasion. Val Venus knows how to rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
And I was in hysterics. I thought that was one of the funniest things.
It might be because at the time you were nothing more than a giggly teenager.
Yeah, you know. But when I look back at it now, it gives me... I hate to say that Val Venus is, gives me fond memories. Let's not go too far there. Let's go a bit far. But yeah, they're my other moments. Obviously, there are tons of moments in Royal Rumble. That's why I'm excited for Royal Rumble.
Do you know the worst part? Is like Royal Rumble is the only time where I actually quite like Kofi.
Yeah. It's Kofi's season.
Even though, but then it's just like, I know full well he's going to do some funky thing. It's like, what's he going to do this time? And then nearly fuck it up.
Nearly messed up. Year. Well, I just
Can I make that jump? Somebody get me a chair.
Yeah.
Or hop.
Yeah. I wonder what he will do this year. I dislike Kofi Kingston, but come on, he's quite entertaining in that role, right? They had tons of
John Morrison.
Yeah, he was good at doing that. He's doing good work in Lucha Underground, by the way. So
yeah.
Like I said, I'd have to pick the Mysterio Rumble because that was a real good payoff to that. And there were still people back then that maybe thought that they really weren't going to put any stock in Mysterio. Mysterio was the tiniest guy on that roster. Yeah. Even though he'd bulked up a bit since then. I mean, he was a stocky cruiserweight at that age. He had a bit of muscle to him. He
like it was nearly the case of like you. I know you're 5'6", but you're actually breaking the cruiserweight threshold of weight.
Yeah. I mean, he was a former WWE champion for all of maybe a night because remember he got beaten by John Cena that same night.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, just by the WWE stamp of things, they wouldn't have ever given him a shot to win that, even with the Eddie Guerrero stuff. And maybe, you know what? I'll state it now, right? I'm just being a realist. He wouldn't have won that match if Eddie hadn't died, right? And that is a shame to hear because I think Mysterio definitely does deserve the titles that he won. But it was still, regardless of that, it doesn't matter. It was a really great feel-good moment, and I always remember it. I thought it was brilliant and very emotional. I remember it being very emotional. Fail of the week. Are you ready for this one, Matt? I have to admit, a fail of the week hadn't come to me. Throughout the week, I was waiting for. Normally, what happened throughout the course of a week, I'll think of something. I'll be thinking of wrestling, and something will pop into my. I want to talk about that. It was a great fail. I want to talk about that. That didn't happen this week, so I was thinking. A couple of hours before we started recording for the show, I'm thinking to myself, what are we going to do? What are we going to do for fail of the week? I just can't think of anything. You know what I do? I'll look at WCW's fails because they've got hundreds of them.
Back to the old stomping ground of fails.
Yeah, my treasure trove of fails, shall we say. And this happens on a night of a fail we have already spoken about. Halloween Havoc, 99, I believe. We spoke about Sting's title match against Hulk Hogan. Remember Hulk Hogan coming out and getting pinned in 3 seconds because he laid down, and then Vince Russo, it was a Russo angle of him. Oh, apparently he wants to walk out of the company, or what Russo was like. Right?
Yeah.
So a shitty angle, regardless. Fans felt gypped because they didn't get the main event they paid for. And I mean, back then, Sting versus Hogan is still a fairly decent main event draw, right?
Oh, that's it.
Even though WCW was failing at that point. So later on in the night, to kind of curb, the fact that they didn't get a main event, there is a bonus match, a non-title match between Sting and Goldberg, right? Fair enough. Sting against Goldberg, that's a pretty high-profile main event, right?
Yeah.
On a bonus match. What happens is fairly hilarious in the fact that they put over tons and tons of times. Sting is the champion, as we know. It's a non-title match. It's just a bonus exhibition match. The match is bad because it only lasts 3 minutes. And Goldberg beats him and is subsequently given the title to celebrate and declared as the new World Heavyweight Champion. So
Deborah?
Yeah. As he's celebrating, commentary are trying to figure out what happened. Like, is he champion? Is he champion? Oh, he is champion! Congratulations, Goldberg.
Oh, excuse me.
How did... No, I would want to know. There's only one or two things that could happen here with this commentary. Either one, this was another Russo swerve, and they just didn't want to tell people that are watching that it could be a title match, which is stupid. You know, if it's a title match, make it a title match, you know. Fuck it,
exactly.
Yeah. Or this was a mistake that the information wasn't given to the commentary. Both are as bad as each other.
Yeah.
You know, it was stupid. I mean, I remember that I was watching this and I was just like, oh, okay, might be a cool match. Oh, it's over. Well, it was a bit of a shit thing anyway. This is me getting a little bit older in my years, realizing that this sort of stuff wasn't that great. And then it was like, oh, but why is he celebrating with the belt?
Yeah, hold
Wait
on
a minute. I mean, they were getting over well on commentary that this was a non-title match, an exhibition match, really, because it was for the belt. So
yeah,
the non-title bonus match that was for the title. That's what that will be named for. So
yeah,
poor Sting. Maybe he didn't know it was a title match. Maybe he thought, I get pinned, I get out of here, I'll be fine.
I'll go home, have a bath, I'll go to bed.
Exactly. As we know, Sting doesn't take baths because Vampiro blood stays on him during different events. But
yes,
of course. Let's get into our Raw review. We've had plenty to talk about before we started the Raw review this week. This week, I'm just going to give you a spoiler. Was not a good week.
Sucked.
It was a poor week, and it was maybe more highlighted in the fact that last week was, I thought, a very good show. I thought it was very entertaining. And regardless of whether you dislike some segments, there was a lot of stuff to see. And it was interesting. It was, what you watch a TV show to be. It was, at times, engrossing. Man, I was listening to Ryback's promo on the edge of my seat, wondering what this guy was going to say. I thought it was awesome. Right? But as we know, at the end of last show, the Authority came back, and with them came a vast stench of shit that enveloped the show. One thing that I had praised for, and we'll go through each segment as we do, that's our calling card. One of the things that I noticed, first of all, is that while we disliked the Authority before and we thought that the storyline was played out, we thought that Triple H and Stephanie were at very least very good on the mic. Some weeks they were excellent. Triple H, some weeks, especially leading into that Survivor Series match, was excellent on the mic. We were praising. We were like, where did this guy suddenly get all this drive and determination from?
That's it. Where's Triple H been hiding all these months?
Exactly. Yeah, he was pulling out some really great. I mean, the backstage boring promos that they do. Suddenly they were interesting. He was all up in his team's faces, telling them it's unacceptable for you to lose. So all this last.
That's it. You better fucking do it.
Here it sounded as if they were running off lines, and they're good enough where that shouldn't be the case. Both of them are world-class promo givers. Stephanie is excellent in her role. She wasn't this week. Triple H is excellent in his role. He wasn't this week. It wasn't that great. And word is, and this is going off of just backstage news, so don't take too much of a pinch into it, even though I can see all the factors, is that Vince had his grubby mitts all over this show. Right? Apparently, he's been very much on board in terms of what Roman Reigns has been saying recently, and apparently he was involved in the writing of the show to a huge degree, and it showed. Right? So if that is the case, the very idea that
he knew about it.
Yeah, the very idea that he's not, out of touch of his fans is laughable.
That's it. This was one of those shows that just goes to prove it. It's like, this is what they want. It's like, sorry, Vince.
Yeah.
Nope, none of it. Thank you.
Yeah. I say he needs to step back, but he won't. Realistically, he won't. So it's regardless, even saying that. King was off commentary, as we said. Booker T does replace him. But as I said, he was quite restrained this week. No ducky, clucky, chucky, wucky, quack, quack, and Fab Fives this week. And it was for Corpus Christi, Texas, that the event took place. They don't often go there, I believe. So, interesting. I thought they had a decent enough crowd for the start of the show, but as normal, they petered out towards the end.
Yeah.
One
thing I quite liked about the opening section?
Go on.
Garen Young was there.
Yeah, I've got notes about him, man. I really do. And one thing I did like about Raw opening, I mean, this is the first Raw 2015, is that it's been a while since I've genuinely seen their opening video package and the fireworks display. You know, they've
Yeah,
got rid of the fireworks display because obviously it was too expensive.
that's a
for a long
fair
time.
point.
Yeah.
There's one thing though. We're about that opening video package.
Go on.
Gee, if they're not trying to get Roman over as the next big guy,
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
he finishes the video.
He was on the Cena slot. You know, Cena's always the ones that end that stuff, and yeah, he was there.
That's Cena's salute slot.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah, so the entire roster is in the ring, and Cena basically explains what happened last week, that he brought back the Authority. And as you say, keen eyes, like yourself, will notice that Darren Young is standing right behind Cena.
I was curious why Sin Cara was there, but not in a Lucha Dragon t-shirt.
Yeah, Lucha.
Lucha.
I thought, and people don't just be mature about it. When I say that this guy looks like $1 million, that doesn't make me gay just because he's gay. Okay, come on, get real. The guy looks good, right? I think his look that he has now far more marketable than the. I mean, what was he had the afro, big afro before? That wasn't good. I hope he gets it back in the ring soon, and I hope that they got some sort of plan for him. I do, and book him like a legitimate competitor. He could be a good shiny. Yeah,
I hope he has a good run in the Rumble. Yeah,
that would be great. I'd love to see him come back for the Rumble. But who knows? Who knows? But it was good to see him there at least.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it was like a homemade, like, you know, he's the one who did all the work in terms of a promo before he came back. And I thought that was excellent. I thought that.
The one on YouTube?
Yeah.
I shared to you.
I thought that was very well done.
Really good.
And if he can do that on his own, then WWE should be more than able.
Freedom fighter, didn't he?
Yeah, they should be more than able to give him the same thing, even if they don't want to. I'm sure if they say to him, "Okay, give us another video promo, we'll air it if it's good enough." I'm sure he would give you the best thing you've ever seen. Like he would bust his ass making the best video package for you. But as we know,
Black Cena.
But he can go far further than that. I think the way that he looks now is much more marketable.
He doesn't even look like Cena anymore.
Yeah. He's got a beard. That changes everything.
For a start, yeah.
Exactly. It is funny. He does look so much like Cena though, with all things, you know, in regard. Cena says that a man's health is more important than the Authority returning. I asked him, what about our health, Cena? We have to watch this each week, so
that's it.
You know, have to put that into account. And as you know, it's an opening segment. The Authority are back, and of course they're going to be there. You know this happens by now, fans. You know that this happens. I just ask you all the question, and I will be keeping track. How many Raws can they open in a row as of now? Do you think they could break their record of 9 in a row that they had? Remember, I did the math. Okay.
Yes, and I reckon they'll beat 9, and they'll even open Rumble.
Oh wow! Imagine that.
When is
Rumble?
Sorry, I think to myself, when is Rumble?
Rumble's the end of the month. They've had about a month and a half of Raws. That's why it's felt longer. But yeah, come on, can they break 9? I don't want to see them do it, but I think they might. There's no one to stop them now from opening Raw. Stephanie says it's not the way to start up Raw. All sad, and apparently they'll entertain the fans. Really, I doubt that, personally. Especially with their performance this week. Triple H reminds us that the stipulations mean absolutely nothing, in the terms of that just 2 months ago they were fired. And this is the theme of our Raw review. Stipulations mean nothing.
Yep.
And it will play into the final segment of the night. And I'll remind you then that stipulations now mean nothing. They made one of the biggest angles of their year irrelevant by bringing these people back too early. I'm not adverse to them coming back. I kind of expected that they would do, but they left it too early. And now they're educating their fan base to believe it doesn't matter if you're removed from power or anything, or if you get fired. We'll go into that later, because you'll come back eventually. You know, everyone does.
And we'll see you a week later.
Exactly. So then they go forward and say, "Oh, the place has been like a wreck without us. Everything's been horrible." So they essentially slammed the last 2 months of Raw without them. You know.
Yeah.
I know some of them have been pretty atrocious. You know, the fact we had Larry, the cable guy.
Well, they did mention the anonymous general manager. So
yeah, that was garbage as well. But yeah, come on. I know it was only a passing mention, and maybe I am reading into this too much, so I appreciate that may be the case. But I've never been a fan of them slamming their own shows. Much like Cole was famous for doing it when he was doing the stuff for NXT. You know, he didn't even seem like he cared. It wasn't like he didn't care about the show. He cared, but he cared to bash it all the time. He was just bashing it over and over again. Oh, this is horrible to watch, and why am I here? And it's like, well, if you say that, why the fuck do I want to watch?
That's it.
It's a bit odd, you know.
Why are you here? Because this is the best damn wrestling you're going to find under the WWE banner.
Yeah. So that's that. I don't like them. But, like, listen, I know it was, oh, you don't want WWE to slam their own shows, but you do it all the time. Well, I don't slam my own podcast. I don't say, well, last week's episode was pretty shit, wasn't it, Matt? Why would I do that? You know, it's just stupid. This brings out Seth Rollins anyways. Triple H says, as a reward, I'll give you a spot in the title match at Royal Rumble. Hallelujah! Fantastic. I thought that basically, essentially gives us something far different than we get, which is Cena Lesnar for. So, adding into that match, I think that's a great move by them. Are you under the same thought?
I'll accept it.
Yeah, we did. I
was, however, just thinking to myself. I was like, right, but what are you going to do about his Money in the Bank?
Yeah, I saw like a joke going around on like the meme sites that Rollins wins this, he wins the Rumble, so at WrestleMania we could have a Seth versus Seth match because he'll cash in.
Cashes in on himself.
Yeah. If they can clone him twice, I'd watch a Seth versus Seth match, but we're a little bit far away from that, guys. Maybe 10 years down the line, maybe we might have some cloning technology, but...
that's it. That's what we need.
We need to clone that man stat! Three superstars of the year on the roster, why not?
That's it, just one with red, one with blue, one with green hair.
Yeah! And give them all different personas. Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, dear. You can make one of them heel, one of them face, and one of them, like Bray Wyatt dancing on the middle. That's the way you could do it.
Yeah.
So he's all happy, obviously, with that. Cena looks depressed that he doesn't get another Lesnar Cena match.
It's like, what? It's not just me and Lesnar? Oh.
Stephanie then says it's Cena Appreciation Night. Triple H says it's a new era for the Authority. He sets up a Intercontinental title match with Ziggler and Barrett to go first. It was a bit of a mindless segment, one that you would kind of expect from the Authority. I thought it at least had the decency to last around 10 minutes rather than
it
20 minutes.
It didn't drag.
Yeah, so I can't blast this opening segment too much, even though you guys know full well I won matches opening shows. Yeah, but 10 minutes as an opening segment, I'll take that. It's an improvement over what we got before.
That's it.
Something like it's an improvement in terms of we got less of the same, so that's okay. Ziggler against Bad News Barrett for the IC title. This is something that when you put these two guys in the ring, they had a phenomenal match last year.
They had chemistry.
They have chemistry, so you would expect that they can do something very, very good. One little note here as well is that Eden, who is Cody Rhodes' wife, but obviously we won't know her. I don't like putting, she's Cody Rhodes' wife. We'll say that she's the new ring announcer because that's what she is.
Yeah.
She got a name card and everything during her announcing, and I thought that she was actually pretty decent for that stage in her career. She hasn't been announcing for that long. I thought she did a great job. Throughout this show.
Well, thankfully it was Eden, because it could have been JoJo.
Oh wow! I watched an episode of Total Divas and it went back to the time that Eva Marie fucked up 3MB's entrance. Remember that? Ginger Mahal. Do you remember all that?
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I mean, let's face it, Eden is a professional and she'll be able to get that shit done. And she was great. She was fine. Still could improve, but she was definitely okay. She was fine.
That's it. No Jillian, but...
Oh. She's hard to beat though, isn't she?
Yeah.
So it came pretty much apparent. You know how this show was going to go forward going here with the Authority. You know that all three guys, apart from Cena on Team Cena, were going to get essentially dicked throughout the night.
Oh, God, yeah.
You knew that was going. Ziggler gets the victory very early in the match, but I thought, oh, well, it ended a bit early, and then Kane comes out and says, well, actually, it's a 2 out of 3 falls match.
It's like, oh, I'm so forgetful.
So
I'd lose my mask if I... Wait a minute.
Exactly. Now, as you guys know, we have noticed a number of startling mistakes that a normally very proficient announcer, Michael Cole, would very rarely make. And the fact is that he gets another mistake off the bat when Barrett, batters Ziggler on the outside to get the advantage, and then he uses the wasteland on Ziggler to get the
The
pinfall.
winds of
Yeah,
change.
he calls it the winds of change.
What?
Yeah.
No.
People may argue that Barrett's been out of wrestling for a while. He hasn't been around that much.
No
Cole,
excuse.
there's no excuse. Cole is the commentator of the biggest wrestling organization in the world that has multiple
It's
million
like he
viewers.
got it wrong. Oh, Barrett hasn't been around for a while. Yeah, but I didn't get it wrong.
Yeah, let's face it, right? And I go for it. We're unemployed by WWE, and we know the names of all the moves, right? The fact is that we watch less wrestling than Michael Cole does on a weekly basis. I can guarantee you that, right? We only watch Raw. He commentates all of Raw. He does SmackDown as well. The fact is he should know, regardless of how much he watches. If he's employed by the company, you should know. You're the voice of the company.
Shit.
You should know your shit. And he's been making tons of mistakes recently, and it's very unlike him. I always thought that he was very accurate, but not now. Not over the last year, I'd say he's been a little bit off sorts. So with the score 1-1, the match goes a little bit further, and it becomes something very decent to watch. At least they started out the show okay. Yeah, also another mistake. What I heard, I may be wrong here, but I think Cole referred to Barrett as coming from Prescott, England, not Preston.
Yeah, Prescott.
Prescott, which doesn't exist, by the way. We had a chancellor called Prescott. No one liked him.
That's it. We had a John Prescott.
John Prescott. So yeah, 2 mistakes pretty early. So Barrett then wins the match. He captures the IC title for the 5th time in his career. He's accumulated those under the radar a little bit. With the Kane distraction, and that's basically sets up Ziggler for the end segment as well.
I'll tell you what, there was one thing when Barrett was celebrating, he was up on the turnbuckle. I never realised how shiny the IC belt was.
Yeah.
Like, that thing was gleaming.
Maybe it's just around the British waist, that's why it starts to gleam a little bit more, It's a bit biased.
Just like, you mean it's now actually intercontinental?
Yo!
Helped by someone of another continent?
It's not like God shone his rays onto the damn thing,
It fucking looked that way. I was just sort of watching it, just like, that's a really shiny belt.
Was it the a shock entrance to the Royal Rumble? God! He's already wrestled before with Shawn Michaels, so...
That's it.
He might make an appearance.
I mean, hell, even Vince McMahon cut a promo with him.
Yeah, maybe even the Ascension will hit the fall of man on him. How poetic would that be? The fall of man.
The fall of man upon God.
Upon God. Wow. Biblical or what? Wow.
That's it.
So yeah, over Ziggler, he's been booked very well over the last couple of months. The last 2 weeks, not so well, because he got battered by Rusev last week, and then he loses the title this week. Loses his steam a little bit, but I'm sure that he'll get that back. Just the fact that he's involved in this storyline makes me think that he's definitely in their thoughts. So that.
Oh yeah, he's not forgotten about. That's one thing I'm really hating at the moment.
Yeah.
But we'll go on to it later on.
Yeah, we're going to it. Yeah. They show some clips from Cena's career. They show the first one of his debut match against Kurt Angle with his red and black tights.
His silly haircut.
Yeah, that's it. Ruthless aggression. I heard that he did actually impress a lot of people with that first debut match that he had, and he got told he did a good job from the Undertaker in a backstage segment. So fair play to the guy. It was a shame, actually, that we never got a WrestleMania match between him and Undertaker. I thought there's a lot of things. I mean, Pete, come on. While we always thought that the streak was invincible, wouldn't be beaten, you put Cena in there. Come on, Matt.
That's where doubt comes from.
Yeah, me and you would be wondering, are they going to give it to Cena?
Poster boy?
Yeah. Exactly. Cena goes over everyone. Does he go over the Undertaker? There was a few different dynamics they could play with that, but maybe they didn't want him to be the heel and stuff like that. I don't know, but still. Yeah. They certainly weren't no heels with Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker, and that worked just fine. So, still.
Oh, that was perfect.
Perfect. That's your favourite match of all time, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
Backstage, Renee Young is speaking to Roman Reigns. Oh my dear God, he says he is faster than a speeding bullet, can leap over a building in a single bound. He's more powerful than a locomotive. For the less comic book inspired fans, he's referencing Superman. What?
Yeah. You are not Superman. Like,
Yeah.
you have a punch.
So
That's about it.
I've heard that apparently his promo on SmackDown was just as cringeworthy, and I have no idea what they're trying to do here. Roman Reigns is a big dude. He's got a great look. The fans are into him. Yeah. Why are you trying to add this really gimmicky BS to him? He's a big guy.
So essentially, why are you trying to turn him into a comic book nerd?
Yeah, like, while I agree his promos will eventually have to evolve, right? Apart from what he's got at the moment. I don't think anyone expects more than I'm going to kick his ass in his in his promos.
Yeah.
And if they do expect more, this isn't what they're expecting. So I don't know what tangent you're going. Don't book him like he thinks he's Superman. He thinks he can. He's faster than a speeding bullet. He apparently can leap over buildings in a single bound. Yet you can't jump over the Big Show. So I know that you can't jump over the ropes or anything along those lines. So really, I don't know what you're going with there. I think this is a massive misstep. And Roman Reigns, his build to becoming a big star, it's easy. You don't have to overcomplicate it. You really
That's
don't.
it. Just have him beat people up that people don't like at the moment.
What's he meant to do? Is he going to be referencing Superman? Why would he be referencing Superman? Because he has a Superman punch.
Is this guy a bit of a dick? Well, let me punch him in the mouth. Done.
Like, let's face it, right? Reigns isn't hard to figure out what you need to do with this guy. You make him an ass kicker. That works, right?
Yeah.
You don't make him fucking Superman. You don't make him.
Don't make him an oversized comic book nerd.
Yeah, come on, that's stupid. I thought this was absolutely asinine. I have no idea why they did that. At this point in his career, he doesn't need anything more than you get in my way, I will annihilate you, and I will do it.
Like, I thought we were doing pretty good with the whole sort of like, when Big Show came down, it's like, Show, if you come down here, I'm just going to punch you in the mouth.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was good.
He's not like, if you come down here, I'll use my X-ray vision to knock you into next Sunday. Ha ha ha.
That's it. I'll use my heat ray. Yeah.
Just ridiculous. And you might guys maybe think, oh come on, they wouldn't book it like that. Well, tell me, why did they book it like this? This was a stupid ass
I understand they call it the Superman punch, but don't imply that he thinks he's Superman.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It really is. I don't know why. It was stupid. It really is. And what we heard of apparently that Vince is now working very closely on his promos. Man, if that's the case, fucking get away from the man's promos.
Get away.
You're gonna ruin him.
Away.
You'd be surprised how quickly you can ruin someone. You give something somewhat nichey for the fans to start chanting in terms of degrading the guy. Jesus Christ, man, that'll go quick. Anyway. Wyatt is backstage asking what Ambrose's New Year's resolution is. He says that Dean Ambrose is going away and tonight will mark the end of their great journey. I would call it a meaningless journey, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't like this.
We don't like this. However, now we get to talk about Ascension versus the team of two jobbers, as I'm calling them. Or
a guy who looked like a hobbit.
Local Man 1 and Local Man 2.
Yeah, Generic Wrestler 1 and Generic Wrestler 2.
You can actually, by the way, they're actually in the WWE game, these guys. They're actually, when you make like a pre-made template, just the most boring wrestlers you can find, they're just 1 and 2. There you go, you can find them. I'm joking, guys. Don't go actually onto your Raw games. Of course it's not, but still. I'm making a joke of how generic.
WWE 2K16.
Yeah! You can get generic person number 1 and jobber number 3 in your group. Right. Here's the thing. You've obviously said your piece on the match, and I agree.
Yep.
I think the most damaging thing was their promo. They could have beaten these two guys. Yeah, it wouldn't have done much for them, but it definitely didn't damage them. I think the promo was bad. By the way, the Ascension came out, crowd couldn't give a shit. Right? They didn't boo them, didn't cheer them. There was nothing to these guys. It was uncomfortable, almost like the Barrett Cesaro match that we had last week. Uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
It was almost like this. So here's what they say. They name drop Demolition and the Road Warriors. Okay? And they basically then bash the pair of the tag teams.
Oh, what a joke.
Yeah. And then at this time, JBL starts kind of blowing a mini gasket, saying this is ridiculous. You're not even to the level of these guys. While I agree with him, I wondered why he was saying that. Because you made these guys sound like a joke on commentary, like they're so stupid to be doing it. It was actually down to Cole to kind of break up and go, well, they definitely look impressive, guys.
Yeah.
So
it's like maybe they could. They're definitely on their way.
Yeah, I thought here's how I would book them, right? We've made a lot of reference to how we would book the Ascension, but you book a dominant tag team by making them speak their words in the ring. Yeah? Instead of speaking on the mic saying we're better than Road Warriors, you take all those words into I'm going to slam you into the mat with the same amount of words I would say in that promo. I would annihilate people, and there's no point them just beating nobodies. Yeah, fair enough. They beat nobodies. It shows how dominant they are. Apparently, if you want to be truly dominant, you don't just beat nobodies. You destroy nobodies. You make sure they don't even think about wrestling again. Right?
That's it. Like,
how dare
end their whole? Are you going to wrestle anymore? No. It's just like terrible flashbacks to the Ascension kicking the shit.
The way I would do it, if you had these two jobbers to go up against them, right? And I'm not saying that the match damaged them. I thought the promo was very bad, right? But the way I would have done it, if you're going to cut a promo, come out, get them to look at the two jobbers at the side, getting ready, maybe a bit sheepishly, and they're genuinely insulted that they have to share the same ring with people of that caliber, and they just annihilate them, destroy them.
Yeah.
Right?
This is what I have to work with.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's your fault. I'm this pissed off. I'm going to take out on you. You're gonna die tonight. I'm going to destroy you, and they do it. But here it was like, okay, a couple of slams, full of man, get out of the ring. There you go, done. And a really shitty promo.
Finished.
Here's the thing, guys, right? And I know that you're annoyed, Matt, and you're so frustrated because you love these guys, you love this team, right? And I know you've been loving them for ages. This can still work, right? It can be fixed. And it's not a huge
I was
tweak.
going to buy a t-shirt, goddammit.
Yeah. But the thing is, right, this can still work. People thinking they're already done. They're not already done, right? It can still work. Whether or not WWE will fix anything is obviously down. I doubt they will, but it can be fixed, right? There's a few tweaks that need to be made, and they're very so subtle tweaks. Very small tweaks to their appearance, to how they come out.
Get rid of the fucking, whatever the hell their body armor is.
Yeah, their body armor and stuff like that.
Keep the Egyptian look, because that's what they use. Get rid of the face paint and the eyeliner.
Yeah. I would do just a few little tweaks, and it can work. At the moment, the way it's going, it's not working. And if they're going to cut more promos like this, it won't work. And I already think that a lot of steam was taken out of them because of the really poor way that they were introduced to the main roster. I have not remembered a person being introduced. Even Bo Dallas got vignettes. Dallas got vignettes. Yet the Ascension can't get it. All they do is get a camera with a little bit of steam in the background with them going, I'm going to ride the lightning. Really?
Yeah. I'm going to rip off former tag teams.
Yeah. It doesn't work. And the fact is, it's not a big problem with these guys. It's not working at the moment. It can be fixed, but it needs to be fixed. It doesn't take much to solve their issues, but it still needs to be solved regardless. Okay, and whether or not WWE get onto that is to be seen. I think unfortunately, and I really mean it. I don't want to say this to you, Matt. There is a chance they may get forgotten. Very quickly.
I know, and it's terrible.
Yeah. Because after all, it may be Triple H wants to get these guys over, but who has the last laugh? And while he's alive, and apparently he's in touch with us. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
Rusev and Lana are they weren't on the show this week because Ryback really couldn't do anything with them, and technically, according to the whole thing, their rivalry's dead now anyway. Rusev and Lana tell America it's time to keep their nose out of everyone's business. They say that Putin is the only leader that can lead us all to greatness. And it was just a quick promo, pretty much what they would have said in the ring.
Russia, fuck yeah.
Oh dear, but yeah, you know what? I was just talking about that earlier, right? Man, if they really want to get this guy to have uber heat, why not just make him dump the US title, burn it in a barrel, maybe smash it with a hammer? What an angle that would be. That would be fun. I think that would be cool.
That's it. Just bring back the not, I was about to say the Continental
The
title.
European
Like the
Championship.
European title, yeah.
According to the Eastern European title.
Oh!
No. No, I know they won't do it. But, I mean, people may be arguing, well, there's just as much legacy behind the US title than there is the IC. Yeah, but the US title had most of its legacy outside of WWE. So
Yeah,
that's
it's a WCW belt.
yeah, and, NWA and stuff like that before it. So,
Yeah.
if I was going to get rid of two of them and piss on one, it would be the US title. But there we are. Reigns against the Big Show. We had this match last week, so we're going to have it again.
Snore.
Yeah. JBL tells us this will be a match we'll always remember. And considering I forgot last week's match, I wasn't hoping that much here. It was okay. As you say, it was more on the boring side than memorable. Big Show whacks Reigns with the steel steps to force a DQ. Then Reigns spears Big Show afterwards, and the steps looking like they're going to land on the guy. And he did it quite safe, with the stairs landing on his head, because he kind of made it land on the side, then rolled it over onto his head to make it look like he really got splattered.
Yeah.
And he did that quite well. But that made me cringe a little bit, because I remember the spot with Rowan at TLC doing that and catching Big Show's side of me, thinking, he's just ruptured like an organ or something there. That looked awful. But yeah, made me cringe a little bit. Yeah, but as you say there, Matt, apparently it was going to be a match we'll always remember. I've forgotten what happened in this match. If I didn't have my notes,
I remember a lot of oh, well, if he's Superman, then Big Show's knee must be kryptonite because he took quite a few knees to the face.
Yeah. So yeah, if Big Show is his kryptonite, fair enough. Then Roman Reigns should have no problems fighting in the Rumble. He would just basically just fly above the Rumble, just stay there.
That's it.
Yeah, never have to come down. Nikki Bella against Natalya. We have a rematch from last week's nothing match, so we get another nothing match.
Oh, of course.
So I think that's, what is it, 3 nothing matches in a row, something like that now? Don't know.
It's the Divas, dude.
However,
nothing matches.
Our girl, Paige, from our country, made her appearance here, and she looks like she's gone face, at least for a little while. She made her debut on Total Divas, giving Natalya hash brownies as a joke. And
yeah, I was going to say, you do know where the story comes from, don't you?
Yeah, I do. The thing is with Paige, I'm glad that she integrated herself into the roster this well. And 2014, regardless of what we think, it was a great year for her. She's a 2-time Divas champion. She made a very good debut onto the main roster and had a good rivalry with AJ Lee. However, I think myself and yourself allowed ourselves to get a little bit too excited, thinking that she might have led a new era of quality. She hasn't done that, right?
No.
In fact, we've still stated to this pack that she hasn't had a great match since she's been on the roster. Not to the levels of her against Emma in NXT.
No.
So, and that's not an indictment on her. That's more of an indictment on the fact that WWE are like, let's just get these girls out to have 2-minute matches, sometimes less than that, 30-second matches. And we'll do that. However, Paige just basically decided, you know what, I'm not going to take any crap. She attacks Brie, gives Natalya the distraction victory with the most devastating finishing move in wrestling history. And then she dealt with Nikki Bella quite easily as well. So
that's it.
Paige doing her thing.
It's like, is that how it is?
Yeah. Now, the thing is with this, I said before, I dislike the buddy-buddy mentality that the women's division has, especially when it comes down to Total Divas time. That they very randomly have alliances with each other. They'll be, fantastic, we're all friends, great. I've said it before, each woman should be gunning for the Divas title, and that's the only thing that they should be gunning for. They shouldn't be making friends. I'd much rather Paige, even as a face, making an announcement stating, well, you know what, I respect Natalya, but if she thinks she's getting that belt before me, she's an idiot. I'm getting that belt. There's no way of going around there.
Yeah.
I want to be champion. But
I was a 2-time champion last year. When was the last time Natalya held that belt?
I remember Natalya herself being on commentary stating, I hope that she does win the belt. She deserves it. She's done so great. I hope that these girls do great in their careers. It's like, really?
What about you?
What do you want to do? Do you want to be on top of the totem pole? Do you want to congratulate these people? And I thought it was a low point for there. I mean, this was a time that we were getting constantly, week after week, 8 Diva tag matches that were ending in less than 30 seconds. Where 6 of the Divas weren't even involved in the match. So that was in a really dark era for this group. So it's a little bit better now, at least. Not much, but a little bit better. Ambrose is backstage. He says that he doesn't make New Year's resolutions. Yeah, and there's no happy ending to his fairy tale with Bray Wyatt. I thought it was okay mini promo, but as you said, it just suffers from all the same issues we've had before. There's no end goal.
I'm not caring about this feud.
Doesn't it suck? We've said it
Do you
all
know what the
along.
worst thing is? I watched Raw earlier and I can't even remember who finished it.
Yeah.
Like, who won?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter who won. It doesn't matter who won at all. Ambulance match, who gives a shit?
Did Wyatt win?
Wyatt did win.
Ambrose win?
No, Wyatt won.
Wyatt did win?
Wyatt did win, yeah.
Yeah.
But
see, that's it. That's exactly it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I watched it. Like, I finished. I saw it not 3 hours ago, and already I'm like, I don't know. Something happened.
Something happened. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. I hope this is the end of their rivalry. I really do, because let's face it hasn't worked. You know, and it's not down to these guys' effort. They have been trying very hard. WWE didn't give them a story. They just paired them up and said, okay, kill each other.
No. It was just like, do you remember how much you enjoyed, how much you wanted to get your hand on Rollins? Good. Do it again for Wyatt.
Yeah, that's it.
They were just, we'll come up with a reason.
Yeah, they thought that they have the same sort of dynamic that Ambrose had with Rollins, but with Ambrose and Rollins, there was a reason why they wanted to kill each other. And it grew each week. There's no reason why these guys ever... Wyatt has never announced why he wanted to attack Ambrose at Hell in a Cell. Why he picked
like
that
all
moment.
All these like, oh, I see a little bit of myself in you, Dean. But it's just like, cool.
Okay.
I see a little bit of myself in a mirror every morning. Doesn't mean I'm going to punch it.
Oh my god, here we go. Marsander versus Mirror match. WrestleMania.
That's it.
Yeah. No reason, just book it.
No, just because it can. It can happen.
Because it can happen. So yeah, that's our main issue. We'll talk about the match as well, but like I said, these guys are doing good work, but really doesn't matter. Does it matter? Commentary paid tribute to ESPN legendary, broadcaster working for them, Stuart Scott, who I don't know his field of work, but I'm a fan of NBA coverage, and I watch a lot of ESPN First Take, and I've heard his name recently on there. Like I said, I just wanted to make a reference to this, and the fact that even WWE don't have much affiliation with ESPN, but they obviously took the time out here, so the guy must have been quite a big player in terms of broadcasting and stuff like that. So tribute there paid. So fair enough, that's cool. Eric Rowan against Luke Harper. This match, if it was going to be a really cool opportunity for these guys to kind of have the rivalry within the Wyatt family, they missed it back when they had that initial match, and that whole dynamic is lost now. So
yeah,
a bit of a shame. It was a missed opportunity then. It's a missed opportunity that won't present itself any further for them. So it's gone. It's missed. The special guest referees are Noble and Mercury, and the match is a nothing match. It's over within minutes. A clothesline, fast count, it's done. And afterwards, the group attack Rowan, and they do like a double drop kick set of thing, which apparently would kill Rowan. He was out. He was plattered out. I still state right now that the only reason Rowan's involved in all this is because he was involved in that match. And the only reason he was involved in that match is because Harper was involved in that match. And they've got plans for Harper. I imagine that Wyatt is going to... Rowan is going to get forgotten extremely.
Oh, yeah.
Like wait, come on. Apart from where he was this week, he hasn't even been around since TLC. He got beaten by Big Show. He hasn't even been around. No. So, there you are. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I do think this is his first appearance since TLC, which is quite funny, really.
I can't recall another. No,
he certainly hasn't been. He certainly hasn't been around recently. I can tell you that much because I can't even remember. Even if he has done, I can't even remember who he wrestled.
Yeah, that's it.
Commentary relates to the fact that the network is coming to the UK and Ireland. We've stated that before, but with the amount they are pushing it, definitely makes it seem as if they're far more confident this will go through this time. For their sake, I hope they're right.
It better do.
Better do. They took like a segment taken apparently earlier from the night, where Naomi and Alicia Fox are talking. It says that nothing will come between them, and then apparently.
Oh, no harm done. Oh, wait, I meant to cause harm.
Yeah,
she fuck off.
Attacks her for a little while, doesn't she? Apparently, Alicia Fox is making her Total Divas debut this week, and it is a shame how much Total Divas is starting to dictate what we watch on the show. And I think E have got a little bit of power in terms of what they can throw around on our weekly wrestling show. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
No.
Giving E power in terms of what should be booked on your weekly wrestling show, that worries me a lot. And I apparently, from what we heard, Vince isn't happy with it either. But there's not much he can do, really. You know.
That's it. Contract signed.
Contract signed. You signed your deal with the Reality Devil. Now you must deal with it.
That's it. You are, in fact, a shrewd businessman. Now stick with your business decisions.
Exactly. Yeah. In a business sense, he's made his bed. Now he has to lie on it, sort of thing. But yeah, the fact is that, as we said before, Total Divas season started up again. You're going to get tons of these rivalries coming up. At the very least, this led to Naomi, at very least, being involved in like a 6-woman tag match, showing what she can do in the ring, and that's always impressive. So, Ambrose against Wyatt. So they had the ambulance match now, which wasn't actually the main event of the night, and you'll be so shocked to know.
Actually, I was just thinking there was one thing about the about that attack backstage that kind of annoyed me.
Go on.
I thought Cameron hated Naomi's guts.
Yeah, and she's just like helping her, and oh, you okay,
well, not
girl?
that she was really helping. She was just sort of knelt down there, just like. But
apparently, these two women hated each other and all this love, but still, there we go. Oh well. Consistency.
I'm trying to overthink it. This is.
It's Total Divas. It's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to make sense. Anyway, Ambrose against Wyatt in the ambulance match. If you guys have watched any of these men's previous fights, then you know what to expect here. It's, hardcore inspired spots, both guys battering each other, but for no reason.
An elbow drop through a table. I'm sorry, and I was like, I saw on YouTube, like, WWE just like, yeah, the top 10 greatest things to have happened on Raw. It's like, really? How many times are we going to see Dean Ambrose elbow drop through a table?
Yeah, exactly. They did about 4 of them back at their TLC match, so...
That's it. Just varying sizes of ladder.
Yeah. Basically, these guys are just fighting each other on a weekly basis in different stipulations now, so the fact is that it's all irrelevant.
I still see it as a bit of a joke when they're just like, and they've even had a Miracle on 34th Street fight. It's like, oh, shut up.
The fact is, right, as you said there, Matt, we already alluded to it before, doesn't matter who wins this match. Yeah, what do they get? Apparently, this is the end of their storied rivalry, right? Why? Why is this the end? Why this match is the end? They haven't explained that. What do one of them get?
Why an ambulance match on Raw?
Yeah. Why did they both come to a gentleman's decision and agree that, okay, we're going to put all these one last war. We'll see who's better. They didn't do that. They just said, oh, this is where it ends. I doubt this is where it ends. It'll probably continue on, and they'll have more meaningless matches. So there we are. If you want hardcore inspired matches, I imagine that you could probably find much better ones on the WWE Network. That will go far further. Fuck, you can watch it CZW matches back when Ambrose was Moxley.
On the WWE Network, you can actually watch hardcore matches.
Yeah. So the fact is that this isn't exactly devastating. It ends with Wyatt using Sister Abigail on the ambulance, then on the concrete, and then he chucks Ambrose in. Closes the ambulance, and apparently it was supposed to matter. Apparently it was supposed to care. I can tell you that there was very little fan response, if at all, in regards to this. And I don't think, if this is the end of their supposed story rivalry, it just hasn't worked, and it hasn't done anything for either guy. For either guy. So there we go. Usos and Naomi against Miz, Mizdow, and Alicia Fox. I thought this match was a good one, albeit a little bit brief. I would like for them maybe to go on a little bit longer. Because, especially with Naomi, she was all kinds of form during this match. So
that's it.
Miz gets the victory after what seemed, I don't know if you noticed this, Matt, it seemed like a bit of a botched spot. That it was meant to be a lot, like, basically, Naomi causes the distraction, Miz gets the roll-up pin. But it seemed like that part of the distraction wasn't really there. Naomi was just walking along the apron.
Yeah, just da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Like, maybe if they'd done it, maybe if he knocked Naomi onto the floor, that would definitely serve as a distraction, but not the case. Most powerful finishing move in wrestling history was the one to win this match, of course.
Yeah.
And you can imagine they're going to build up the Naomi tension factor. She's probably going to cost him a few more matches by being out there, and then maybe she does. I'd like for her to turn heel. There's no reason why she can't now she's off Total Divas. She can go heel.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just want to see her wrestling each week. She's too talented in the ring not to wrestle. That's the fact of it. She's one of the best wrestlers in the roster. In the roster they've got, she can do stuff in that ring that no other girl there can do, and I want to watch that. So let's do it. And I don't mean, Cameron can do stuff that no one else can do by not selling properly. Well, even Marie can do that. So there we go. Ryback versus Seth Rollins. It's later explained that Kane has been all forgetful again.
Oh, silly me.
Silly Kane. And that is actually a handicap match. And I honestly thought that Ryback was one of the most over people in the entire show. I thought that last week's promo did absolute wonders for the guy. I really do.
It definitely came across that way.
Yeah, and look, the fans are back onto him. I don't think he's back to the level. I don't think he'd ever get to the levels of what he could have done if he was pushed during that time where he was just losing match after match after match. But it's cool to see that he's got a decent amount of following again after going face.
Yeah.
So that's cool. It's quite funny how we see, and we've said this before as well, commentary saying it's a no-win match. There's no way that Ryback can win this match because it's a handicap match. Yet the amount of times we've seen John Cena win hundreds of handicap matches in history.
Oh yeah, nobody can win a handicap match.
Yeah, the more people against John Cena, the more likely John Cena's able to win. It seems like so.
That's it.
That's the way it works.
It's 1 on 3, 3 times the chance of victory.
Yeah.
It's like John Cena versus the Nexus. Like, he was going to win.
Yeah, he didn't even need the rest of the team.
It's just an infinite amount of possibilities of winning there.
Yeah. I thought this match was the way that all handicap matches should be done, right? That I think John Cena's broken the handicap match gimmick a little bit because the amount of times, as we say, John Cena would be put in a handicap match, but he would win. He'd be put up against, countless people. Even CM Punk beat all members of the Shield in a match once, and he said, "I don't even know why I'm supposed to be winning this match. I don't even know why I'm going over." That was
he said in the interview, didn't he?
That was the part
in his podcast. I was like, I don't get it. It's like, you should beat me. Like, there's 3 of you.
That was the moment where, what was it? We need to make Roman Reigns look strong, and he was like, "Well, you're booking me over to beat all of them. How the fuck am I supposed to do that?"
Yeah, that's it.
So, CM Punk got it. So they've kind of broken the handicap gimmick because it just hasn't worked enough. I think a handicap match should always be done the fact that you give a good showing to the face, but 2 wrestlers will always be better than 1. I don't want to go back to that really crappy jobber. Remember, 2 is better than 1. Everyone say it. 2 is better than 1. Well, actually, it is, especially when you got Seth Rollins and Kane against you. I would not want to have seen Ryback win this match because it would have been unrealistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like if they want to show it and try and make it believable as they can, in UFC, if you put 2 good fighters against 1 good fighter, that 1 good fighter will lose.
What's that whole thing? It's like the moment it's 2 on 1, you've lost.
Yeah, you should automatically.
Because you can put, like, in a straight shoot fight, like, you can't provide your enough attention for both.
Yeah, so you should lose, and it should be very, 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 very rare occurrences where actually one guy manages to beat the handicap stipulation.
Oh, that'd just be because it's a fluke and it's just like a lucky knockout.
Yeah. Or maybe, like you're trying to get this guy over and they've stacked all the deck against him and all this lot. But the fact is they did that. We stacked the deck against John Cena all the time and then you made him win every time. It was stupid. Yeah. So yeah, I think Ryback had a good showing here. He got a shell shock. It was just the fact that he just had one moment where he just kept his eye off Seth Rollins and he got his head stomped in. And even commentary did a good job here in saying, well, actually, it took 2 curb stomps to put Ryback out. Fair enough. He's taking the fall here. He's losing. Make him seem like he gave it the best he could, and he gave it a really good chance.
Yeah, that's
but two guys should always be better than the one guy. But that kind of thing has all been broken nowadays because of Cena mostly and the way he's been booked.
That's it.
Adam Rose against Big E. By the way, this is such a monumental match. This was the main event of the evening.
Fuck, it was, wasn't it?
Adam Rose against Big E.
Oh.
What a big start for the New Day, by the way. Facing Adam Rose. WWE have done absolutely nothing with New Day, since they've been introduced, and that's a big indication of what we thought all along. This group ain't going anywhere.
No.
They're not going anywhere further than what their gimmicks were doing before. Apparently, they're really positive. Don't do that, Matt. Don't do that. Okay. Gets on my nerves. All right. Gets on my nerves.
Okay.
See, I should have told you that because now you're going to keep doing it every week.
Yep. And I'm visiting soon.
No. You're going to teach my daughter that, and she won't fucking
Yes.
stop saying it. Oh god.
In fact, they shall be your youngest first words.
Oh dear. See, I can't even be angry at that if that's the case, because I have to be happy. But damn you, Matt. You're evil.
Or it's going to be come get some. You've got your choice.
I think I'll probably take New Day over that, actually, to be honest. This is another nothing match. There was tons of nothing matches on this show, unfortunately. And it ended when apparently two of the Rosebuds attack, and it turns out to be Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
That's it.
And this ends, you think, oh, well, they're making such an impact. Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, they're attacking the New Day. They're taking their... Oh, no, they're actually just dancing with Adam Rose.
Yeah.
So, there you are.
Da, 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 da.
Have WWE forgotten how to make an impact for new guys or repackaged talent? Because they just like, oh, they're new, just throw them back. Just throw them back. He's the best man between those four ropes. Let's not go into that. He made that joke on himself, though, Cesaro, didn't he?
Yeah,
unfortunately.
exactly.
We love the guy, but that was a bit of a bad promo. But yeah, come on. WWE used to take great care in, even their repackaged guys coming back in. Look at Bray Wyatt. He was repackaged. He came a bit back in. Look at all the vignettes they gave that guy. And yet Cesaro, and they're trying to make a Cesaro and Tyson Kidd tag team. It's just really the way that on the main roster you want to get these guys over as being a team, as just dressing up in weird costumes and then dancing with Adam Rose after.
Hey, I have one of those weird costumes.
No, I'd say your costume's even creepier because it's got nothing on it.
I have a morph suit.
Yeah, but it's got nothing of the graphics like they did.
No,
it's just...
well, only Kid had the graphics, but yeah, no, it's just like plain purple.
Yeah, and the fact it's purple as well is just even more disturbing. But still, maybe you could be a Rosebud, Matt.
Don't you dare! I got to burn it now.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it. You ruined my morph suit for me.
So this nothing match was your main event of the night. Just shows how little they cared for in-ring competition this week. They didn't care about it.
Nothing match was nothing.
Yeah. So, and it was a bit weird. Why wouldn't you just done the ambulance match as your main event? It's very odd. But they want to put them on the hour slots, don't they? So they get more viewers.
Or why not have Ryback, like Rollins and Kane as your main event?
Yeah, that would have been at least doable.
That sounds like a main event.
Yeah, but still. Adam Rose against Big E, that's your main event this week. Oh well. To end off the show, however, is The Authority. They come out for the John Cena Appreciation Night segment. They bring out Cena and show the end of last week's show with Cena. I bring back the Authority, damn it! Sound very much like Vince there, didn't he? Triple H and Steph, as you said before, their whole segment here just sounds very rehearsed. Very, very rehearsed.
Oh, yeah.
They praise Cena for all of his work. They bring out Ryback, Ziggler, and Rowan. Trips reminds them that he had consequences for them all if he would win the Survivor Series match. Now it doesn't matter because they're back anyway. He thinks about giving them all fines. We know where all this is going. All three men are fired.
That's it.
Okay.
And if anyone thinks that this is genuine, they just stop watching wrestling now.
Even if people think it's not genuine, if people genuinely think that these guys aren't going to be at the Royal Rumble, then you're wrong.
Foolish.
Stipulations mean nothing. That's the name of this week's episode. That's the theme of this Raw. These people are fired, okay, in storyline. It would mean something if stipulations meant something. They don't.
Oh, God, yeah.
They've already proved that. There's two big pointers that I point to with this. First of all is a few years ago, back in the Nexus times, where John Cena was fired. Did he miss any weeks of Raw? None.
No.
He didn't miss a single week of Raw, even though he was fired. Right? Technically, he should have been arrested because he was just punching Wade Barrett all over the place, and he wasn't hired. He was a fan, technically. Okay. The second being just 2 months ago, of the Authority being fired. Apparently, that being such a huge moment, and Sting making his debut, and suddenly we have the Authority back. So that now doesn't matter.
You mean the big painted goof?
Yeah, apparently the big painted goof. Stoking his painted nose where it doesn't belong, like JBL says. So, stipulations mean nothing. So how do WWE, who have educated us to believe that stipulations mean nothing, how do they want us to take the fact that these men have been fired? Do they genuinely want us to believe that they've been fired? Yet whenever anyone gets fired before, they're back within, at very least, a couple of months, at very most, in terms of that. Sometimes they won't even miss a week of Raw, like John Cena did, right?
Oh, no, exactly.
At the end of the day, WWE have made their bed in terms of how they've educated their fans to believe.
At the end of the day, you mean before it welcomes in?
No.
Oh.
No. But you know what I mean, though, Matt. Like, the fact is,
completely.
right? It doesn't matter how we feel. It's how the general wrestling fans have been educated to take a firing, right? And they had like video packages of these guys looking all beaten up. The big guy's going home, and
It's like,
this was my dream, and all this stuff. It's like, well, you're doing this, but come on. I firmly believe, 100%, that all these guys are going to be involved in the Royal Rumble. John Cena will make some sort of stipulation that, I'll give up something and you bring these guys back, or something.
Maybe John Cena can quit.
Like you would ever be gone for a sustained period of time. But the fact is, like, this is ridiculous. How do they expect us to really get, oh my goodness, they fired him, fuck them, I want them to get destroyed. It was like, well, they're going to be back soon. The Authority were back soon. John Cena was never gone when he was fired.
That's it.
So,
firing counts for nothing.
Yeah. Now, I'm not a dumb fan. I like to think I'm intelligent. I'm intelligent enough to remember what they've done before. And that goes down to their consistency, right? That very rarely in pro wrestling anyway do firings really mean anything, right? If they had gone back and maybe had a history of, maybe when a person was going away for 6 months to recoup their body, or going for for surgery or whatever, and they're going to be out for a period of time and they get fired. So they educate their fan base that if someone's fired, it means they ain't going to be on the show for a long time.
Yeah.
That fair enough. If so, that way I'd be like, oh shit, Ziggler and Ryback are gone. I don't really care about Rome, but those two are gone and they were just on hot streaks, right? But I've been educated to believe that they'll be back within the end of the month. Yeah. And that's WWE's fault for educating us to believe that. So that's their issue.
But this is the way it's going to be.
People argue that, it was a great segment, I really care about these guys getting fired. Well, obviously you haven't watched wrestling for that long, because you would know that these guys won't stay fired.
That's it. This is nothing more than bullshit.
Or very least, they might stay fired, but they'll still be on the show. Yeah. They won't be. They might be out for a couple of weeks. They'll be back before Royal Rumble. I'm 100% sure of that. They'll be back before Royal Rumble. Or they'll be back at
almost
Royal Rumble.
Certain.
Yeah.
Well, I say almost certain, definitely.
Yeah. Listen, nothing's certain in WWE. They could stick to their guns, at the end of the day, and prove us all wrong. I'd be shocked. But I firmly believe that they will either be back before the Royal Rumble, or they will return at the Royal Rumble, and there will be, there won't be shock picks. It will be John Cena doing something because he feels so guilty about these men being fired or something like that. So there you are. That's the end of the show. So all in all, the show was bad. There was too many nothing matches. We were reminded too much of the stuff that didn't work in 2005, and not enough about the stuff that in 2014. And we weren't reminded of all the good stuff that actually happened. We had Ascension going nowhere. In fact, going backwards, I would state.
Yeah.
Got Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Apparently, their impact was them dancing in the ring with Adam Rose. And you had a lot of nothing matches. And the ambulance match, as I said, yeah, sure, it's a good match, but we've seen these guys kill each other before for nothing, and we're seeing it again. There's not much there.
Like, what did it prove? Nada.
Yeah. It was uninspired. Right? Yeah. We've certainly seen more horrific episodes. We've seen utter shit on this show. I point back to the Kathy Lee, Hoda and Gifford episode of Raw, and that was the worst. And there was a lot of shit.
Don't go back to... Don't mention it.
Yeah. But
if you mention it, we have to accept that it existed.
But you know what I'm trying to get at here is that I'm not trying to state, this is the worst Raw we've ever watched. No, it isn't. It was bad, but it wasn't the worst thing that we've seen. There's much worse, but it was still bad. There's no way getting around it. It wasn't that entertaining. Everything in terms of the promos felt like it was scheduled. The common theme of the show was very predictable, and I very much hope that at very least, come on, if they're going to do another storyline of someone overcoming the Authority, it means they've recycled last year's going up to WrestleMania storyline. If they couldn't come up with something new in a year, I'm very worried about what they've got planned for the rest of this year. So what they're going to do, they're going to have Roman Reigns maybe goes against, or John Cena goes against the Authority or something along those lines, and then they're going to do the same payoff and hope that it gets somewhat the same response that Daniel Bryan got. Well, I've got news for you. It ain't going to happen.
Nah, if that's the way you're going to play it, you lose it.
Exactly. So, talk about recycled content. Jesus Christ, if they do that again, or they do Sting versus Triple H, and if Sting wins, the Authority go again, then they've already trained us to think, well, actually, stipulations mean nothing. Yeah. And it's a dangerous road to go down, WWE. The more that you teach us that your stipulations mean nothing, the more we won't care whenever you put a stipulation in place. Respect them a little bit more.
That's it.
And these firings and these, these people removed from the show, and you bring them back less than 2 months afterwards, you have to respect it a bit more. Because otherwise... You know what?
Well,
listen to this. Let me try and put it in different things, because as we know, Vince wants this to be entertainment. He wants it to be viewed at in the same breadth as shows of what he believes to be his caliber, like The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. He wants it to be viewed in that sort of fashion, like entertainment, right?
Cool. Get it gritty for a start if you're going to watch.
Yeah.
Think of it like that.
Yeah. But first of all, let's say Game of Thrones, right? Game of Thrones has a reputation in its show that it can kill off any character, no matter who you are, whenever George R. R. Martin believes that it's the time to kill you off. No one is safe. And it's got that feeling of, doesn't matter what character I see or how safe I think they are, they could die, right? And it's a huge selling point of that show, that it's so unpredictable and it takes no prisoners. Imagine if they did it, that anyone who died on that show, 2 episodes later came back to life. For some reason or another. Wouldn't that suck? Wouldn't that take away a lot of the, doesn't matter if people die now, because we know they're going to come back. It's the same thing for Raw. Doesn't matter if they're fired. WWE are walking down a slippery slope there, I think. Anyway, that's the show. Have you got anything else for this week in terms of this show?
No, I don't think I've got much to add.
Yeah, I think we've done a comprehensive review there. If you guys did enjoy the episode, then like I said, please leave a like and obviously subscribe to the channel. If you're new, we would like to have you on board. You can be part of us breaking over 200 subscribers. That'll be cool. And who knows? I reckon by episode 100, would you reckon 400, Matt? 400 subs by episode 100. I think we could do that.
Well, I reckon we could, yeah.
I reckon we could do that. But that would only be down to your guys' support, and we're obviously very appreciative of that. If you want to ask any questions, then leave that in the comments section below, or you can tweet us at @TalkWrestlePod. If you do want audio questions, let us know in the comments, and I'll maybe try and set up an email. I think Matt already has an email, we just don't know it off by hand. And maybe you can send us MP3s, and then Matt can send them to me, and then I'll...
go from there. We'll find a way.
Yeah, something like that. If you guys want to have your voice on the podcast, then I'm more than willing to add it in. It really wouldn't be too much of an issue for me. So, let us know if that's something you guys want. We obviously want to go forward with the show. We've got a couple of more Raws until Royal Rumble. And if there isn't as much news next week, we might have an extra little tiny topic segment, because at the moment with the news, the fail of the week, the fan feedback, and the Raw review, there's been no need for us to add an extra topic because we've been constantly hitting over 2 hours.
Yeah.
So if it goes below that, we'll try to add a topic here and there. So if you're wondering where's the we were wrong, we were down wrong segments, that's the reason why they haven't put updates, because we just don't have time. We've got better segments.
Sorry.
Anyway, guys, so thank you a lot for listening to this week. We hope you guys have a great week. We hope Raw tomorrow night, as where you hear this, is better. I'm sure it will be. So it's mid-monther, guys. It's mid-monther.
So we'll sort of cut it a little bit of slack, but
yeah.
Don't know.
But like I said there, I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you next week for another episode 59 of LTW. Catch you guys soon. I was going to say,
so like
alright then, guys. Bye bye.
I'll see you soon.
Bye bye.